Brian Barnes has achieved a lot in the game of golf. A colourful and charismatic figure on the course, he has won 19 professional events, including back-to-back victories at the 1995 and 1996 Senior British Open. But perhaps one of his greatest achievements is to have represented his country and continent in the Ryder Cup an impressive 6 times. His most memorable performances arguably came in the 1975 matches at Laurel Valley, where he famously beat one of the greatest to play the game twice in one day, the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus.
The lasting memories, of course, were the 36 holes I played with Jack, which was, of course, the singles in the last day. It was the days when we used to play 36 holes. We played 6 rounds instead of the 5 they now play. And of course, I didn't realise, but Arnold Palmer had gone to Bernard Hunt, our captain, the night before and said, who have you got on your side who might give Jack a game? And it was decided that I would be the fall guy. And so I walked onto the first tee. I'd known Jack for a long, long time because we'd played British Opens together. And due to that fact, they thought that maybe I wouldn't be in quite as much awe of Jack as some of the other ones. So we walked on the first tee, and as luck would have it, I managed to beat Jack 3 and 2 in the morning. Went into the press conference, which surprised me a little bit, that everybody thought it was an incredible thing that I'd done. Well, I suppose it was in many respects, but I was also more than capable of shooting 65 every now and again. Maybe not as many times as Jack, but I was more than capable of doing so. But, you know, they asked all sorts of questions, and Jack was asked questions as well. And then he went out, and one of the last questions that I was asked was, you know, how would you like to play Jack again this afternoon? And I said, well, lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. I remember saying that. And unbeknown to me, Jack had gone to Arnold and said, look, we only need 1 more point, 1 or 2 points in the afternoon, and we will retain the Ryder Cup. There's only one match the crowds would like to see, and that's Barnesy and I. So for the first time in the history of the Ryder Cup, the pairings were changed. I can remember shaking him by the hand on the first tee in the afternoon, and these piercing ice blue eyes looking me straight in the eye and saying, well done this morning, Barnesy, but there ain't no way you're going to beat me this afternoon. The one thing I recollect about that Ryder Cup particularly was we talked about fishing between shots as we went around the golf course. It was one of the most relaxed games I think I've ever had.
It hasn't really got home yet. I think when I do get back to the hotel room and all the excitement of the occasion's finished, and I sit down and start thinking on the matches today, I'll be pretty pleased with myself.
Sitting in the locker room afterwards with a beer in my hand, we had a partition in the locker room about 6 foot high. Americans one side and the British boys on the other side. And I was sitting there having a quiet little beer, and all of a sudden I heard bang on the other side of the partition. And I looked over the top, and Jack was just about to take off his other shoe, and they had it in this position here to fire it into the locker. And I said, Jack, anything wrong? And he looked at me, he said, you called me a naughty word. And then we went off and had a beer together. But that, of course, is the thing that I can remember more than anything else. It's great to remember. A lot has been made of it, I think, a lot more than possibly would have been if it had been in the era now when we were winning on a regular basis. But in those days, of course, because we didn't win, anybody that did something a little different, as I did beating Jack, of course, all of a sudden it was something to talk about. It's not the most important thing that I've done, as I said to you earlier on. 18-hole match play is a sudden death situation. Russian roulette, a couple of putts at the right time, and you could beat anybody, and it was just my day.